I doubt that. So I'm about ready to wrap up this trip to the United Kingdom. And am I even live? Nothing's happening here. 15 seconds. It's still not broadcasting over here. Finally, it's coming up. A little slow there. 15 seconds. It's still not broadcasting over here. Okay, you guys can hear okay? Right. Well, welcome to the handful of people that are here. I think three at the moment. One like, three people here. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. It is midnight in South Africa. It's 11 p.m. here in UK. And just 11 p.m., so that's going to be 5 hours, 6 p.m. in the East Coast United States. And just three people here. Wow, that's kind of a record low. So there's a song I did, which I've put onto Spotify, but I haven't played here yet. So let's see how this goes. If you like it. It's called English Pride. English Pride.
There's a flag that waves in the morning sun, cross of red on a field of white. It's the heart of a land where I was born, and I'll stand for it with all my might. They call us names, they twist the truth, but love for home is no excuse. English pride, it's in our veins, through the fields and the falling rain. We hold the line, we won't divide. This is our home. It's English pride. Of Dover to the northern fells, this soil has stories to tell, of working hands and stubborn wills, a land of dreams and rolling hills. They sell us out, they break the chain, but we'll rise up and stake our claim. It's about what's ours, the village greens and ancient towers. It's the songs we sing, the words we say, the lives we built, the price we pay. English pride, it's in our through the fields and the falling rain. We hold the line, we won't divide. This is our home. It's English pride.
English Pride from DJ Silver Eagle. Did you guys like that one? Yes. Pride to everyone. Power to every good person out there of all ethnicities who care for what's right and wrong, what's moral and just. Yes, Antoinette, well, I'm prepared, already prepared. So we did have a meet and greet here at Heathrow tonight. We did indeed, and Katie made it after the confusion we had in Exeter, as well as Neil came up from the Wales area there. And Keith Alderson came down from Coventry. So people came from 3 corners of England to meet up with me tonight at the meet and greet. And I am very grateful that they arrived here. Thank you so much for that. It's very, very heartwarming to have people come to the meet and greets. So yeah, this was fantastic, and I feel much better that with Neil, who was unable to make it before, it was some confusion, and with Katie, who we had some serious confusion, and she went all the way down there. I'm glad she was able to come to this one tonight. Had a lovely time. Yeah, Keith gave me some books. That was kind of him, and Neil paid for my drinks and bought me my dinner, and I skipped on the McDonald or the Indian because I didn't like their menu, and we walked to McDonald's. So it's my final dinner was McDonald's, the Scottish restaurant here at Slough. Anyway, so happy there were some people at the meet and greet. Yeah, it was nice, Ingrid. It was very nice. I had a good time. I was mostly prepared because I got into London at the airport about 1:30, checked in, was in my room before 2, and sorted through a lot of things earlier, paperwork, got rid of things I don't need, got rid of some dead weight that I don't need to carry, sorted out most of my suitcase, the laundry. I didn't have a chance to do all my laundry, so I'm taking home some dirty laundry, which I don't usually do. But yeah, it was either that or have wet clothes. And then set up my clothes for tomorrow. And I've pretty much 85% packed. Just have to shower, pack my shaving bag in the morning, and then put a few things in a bag, and I should be set. Should be set for the morning. I booked. They don't have a shuttle. These hotels. This is so lame. They don't have a shuttle, so I had to book a shuttle. It cost me 10 quid to get me over to the airport. But I already checked into my flight this morning, like 10 minutes after it opened up, and so I'm good to go. So just got to get out of bed and get on the bus and go over to the airport in the morning. So yeah, but that's English Pride. I hope you like that. I put that song together for English patriots who are being demonized and misrepresented by people. And by the way, those English patriots include people who are a little darker of a complexion who have English heritage as well. That is entirely possible. So I've actually met a few of those folks who love this country and are very conservative and have English and other ancestry and live here. Also had another break-in a couple of nights ago. Sorry to hear that. That's crazy. Break-ins, man. It's South Africa. Jeez, crazy. No wonder people up at this hour with all the break-ins. Let me say hello to some of the folks who are in the chat before we go any further. So Ulrich Fenter's here, William Wheeler, Antoinette, Carol Ann, Virtual Western Cape, Erica, Fundane Bag, Janine Scenes, Gideon Maloney, Ingrid's Inspirations, The Thing of Nouns is back. Mariki Bezuidenhout is here. Welcome to the Tick Spy. It's either you change your name because you've been a member for a long time. I don't recognize that. Marty Erasmus, welcome to Martin van der Westhuizen. The Curiosity Nuggets, off to bed, but just want to pop in and say hi. Well, thanks for popping in there, Curiosity Nuggets. Martin van der Meva, 1440. John Huchin in from Arizona. What's going on out there in Arizona, man? I'll be out in your time zone very soon. Although you guys don't do daylight savings, so it might not be the same time as you. You might be on Pacific time right now. And Ingrid's Inspirations, Helen Swart, Lynette, I already said Ingrid. Bob Newhart's here, folks. Yes, that's right. And it's my brother Daryl. It's my other brother Daryl. I'm Larry. I just woke up in China, Gideon says, 6 a.m. Oof, my goodness. Lots of people still awake. Yeah, must be the noises outside. Lynette loves that song. That's pretty cool. Tommy Robinson. Yeah, they can use that song for him. Joe Czar says hello from Dallas, Texas. Joe Czar. Weren't you in South Africa? Antoinette, Francois Collins, welcome to you. Can't sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's midnight, 005. I was going to say it's not 5 in the morning, yeah. Nisha, welcome to you. Good evening to you. Anton Mulder's back. Helen Swart. Dylan Colberg is here. Martin Erasmus. Barbie. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party, Barbie. How does that go? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair. Touch me everywhere. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in a fantasy world. I'm your darling. Rock and roll. Here we go. Oh, Aqua. Man, that song just lives forever. Boeing 777. So happy there were some people that meet here. Yep. Okay. Trump and China should stop fighting because NVIDIA stock should not suffer because of stupid politics. Pablo Charlie, do you have shares in NVIDIA? I don't. You must be so excited you're on your way home. No, I'll be excited when I'm eating crabs on Saturday evening after the Glickos win. Fingers crossed. Ich drücke die Daumen, as we say in German. Ich drücke die Daumen. Is Garrett here? He knows that. Yeah, I'm hoping the Glickos win. But it's a tall order to win against the Lions in Ellis Park. That's a really tall order. By the way, if anyone's curious, I did find my glasses. I had them all along. They were in my satchel. They had fallen into the pocket there, one of the hidden compartments, and this is the ones that fold up. So I have them. I didn't lose them. I'm like, I don't lose things. How is that possible? So the only negative consequence of this trip is I broke 2 screens on my telephones. Yeah. Anyway, so in the matter, but I moved those phones thousands of times in and out of my pockets, and so it was bound to happen eventually. Lynette, sorry about the break-in. Antoinette says hello from Dallas, Texas. There's a lot of South Africans that are not in South Africa. Maybe in my couch. Dylan wants my money. Barbie laughing. Nay, not that song. Oh, Antoinette, I love that song. I love that song. That is a fantastic song. You know, they still perform. They go to New Zealand, too. They're from Denmark. Guinea doesn't like that song. Yes, I have interest in NVIDIA. Well, Pablo Charlie, I'm sorry to hear about that. It'll be fine. Loretta's glad she woke up. Well, I'm glad you're here too. Cheryl Potgieter, welcome to. Helen Suardo, I said hello to. And then tonight, that's everybody. So I think I've covered everybody that's in the chat. Good evening to you. Welcome to the 84 people here at this ungodly hour for a stream. Only people in America should be up at this hour. Or China, they're getting up at 6 a.m. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I got a little carried away. So I went downstairs and I was going to do the touristy thing. They have in the gift shop here at the hotel, they have hoodies. They have a zip-up hoodie, and it says London, United Kingdom. It's got the right colors, got a red one, a blue one. One's just a regular hoodie. You pull it over. The other's zip. I like the zip ones. So I put the zip on, and it was too small. My belly looked, I was fat, so I put it back, which is as well. So I bought 3 little stuffed animals instead. Oh, 1440's gone. Okay, well, take care. Sorry to see you go. I lose stuff all the time. I couldn't find my glass the other day for more than half an hour. They were sitting on top of my head. Oh, Gideon, that's sorry. I'm not laughing at your misfortune, but that is funny. It happens, we all do that. I've walked around like, where are my car keys? Oh, they're right here. You get so focused on something. You're still okay? And that's, you're right. That's what matters, Lynette. Love my hoodies, and I do love my stuffed animals. And I love my pins. I picked up some pins. I got a Peter Rabbit pin. I got a Black Ferns pin. I got a Women's World Cup pin. Yeah, got those as well. So, and my scarves, my game day scarves. Oh, I got a few of those. Sleeping shifts. Yeah, gotcha, Barbie. Dylan says 6 a.m. is normally sleep time. Okay. Tail Finder Warhawks. Welcome to you. Today's press conference, something else between Prime Minister and Prime Minister is like Cyril on steroids, smooth mouth. Yeah, he's a slick talker. That's how I became Prime Minister. That's how I became a knighted wonder. He deserved, never done anything to deserve being knighted. Sir Keir Starmer. Yeah. And what the hell kind of name is that for an Anglophone? Starmer. It sounds very Norwegian. Okay. I'm glad that your Pablo Charlie, that your NVIDIA stock is doing well. I wish you well on that investment. I see the Southern Government Declaration was meeting with California Mayor. So why is the South African trade delegation in California? Because nobody in DC will talk to them? Good evening, woke up and here you all are. Yeah, Sue Marie, you're missing out on the party. Everybody's here. Lost a lot of cookies from the day they were in the fridge. Oh my goodness, kid, that's pretty. Oh, I had near panic, folks. Okay, so they gave me some anti-inflammation medication to keep the hip from swelling when I was here. And when I was in Exeter for the first game, South Africa versus France on Saturday, I parked in the car park. I started walking. I got about 150 meters through the little footpath towards the stadium, which is a bit of a ways away. And I realized I hadn't taken the anti-inflammatory, and I'm going to be sitting in that stadium. I better go get it. So I walked back. I opened the boot up. It's a hatchback. And I set the keys down. Not a good move. And then I got out the pill and shut the hatch. And then took the pills. And I'm like, where are the car keys? Oh, crap. They're in the car. I tried to open the boot. Wouldn't open. Oh, my gosh. I've locked myself out of a rental car, and I can pick up the car in London. There's not going to be a spare key. How am I going to get in this car? And yeah, exactly, right. Exactly. I was like, oh crap, I'm going to miss the game. And not to mention, it's going to cost me a fortune. And then I went around the side and I pulled the passenger's door open on the driver's side, and it opened. So the Kia is so smart that it unlocked the doors so that I could get in the car. So then I went to the front, opened the driver's door, and I pushed the unlock for all the doors, and I went back, and it wouldn't open the boot. So I thought about it, and I said, let me climb in the car. The key is in the car, even though it's in the back, so the car should start. I pushed the start button, the car started, then I was able to release the boot, left the car running, went out, found the key. Whew, man, that was a scary moment there. Glencore's closing. Coke South Africa is laying up. Yeah, things are bad, Jozar. Things are bad. There will be a Trump fatigue in a few months. In fact, it's already here. Don't care. He just needs to perform well in economics. Trump fatigue from what? They hate Trump. Yeah, it was very lucky, wasn't it? Yeah, they hate Trump. They'll never be fatigued to Trump. But by the way, Trump is suing the New York Times for $15 billion. Trump is going after the media in major ways. Jimmy Kimmel finally got what he deserved. Actually deserves much worse than he got. Federal Reserve cut interest rates yesterday for the first time this year, a quarter point. It's about damn time. It's well overdue. Well overdue. I'm shocked it took these idiots that long to get around to it, but that's the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell. They hate Trump, and so they will let Americans suffer because of their hatred for Trump. It's really sick. Karl Rove opened up his yap, the Bush New World Order stooge, Karl Rove, the architect, as they call him, the architect of stupidity. Smart cars with TVs, smart watches. Can we get some smart people? Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I need to become one of those smart people. That was pretty dicey there. So yeah, the jobs being lost. Let me get to that. So that's over here. Important businesses forced to shut down in South Africa, not because of tariffs, but because of electricity. Important South African businesses, especially manufacturing and mining sector, are facing closure due to the country's unsustainable electricity price increases. Years of rising tariffs, load shedding, and Eskom's instability have pushed companies to the edge, with some already shutting down operations and cutting jobs. And of course, we know that ArcelorMittal, South Africa, was one of those in the Vol Triangle. Latest example comes from Glencore, one of the world's largest commodity producers. They started a retrenchment process at the Rustenburg ferrochrome smelter and vanadium operations because of soaring electricity costs and economic pressure. South Africa holds 80% of the world's chrome ore reserves, making it a key player in ferrochrome, which is essential for stainless steel. However, unreliable and expensive powers forced Glencore to suspend production at several smelters, including Boshoek, Vanderkop, and Lion, and to shut others in Rustenburg and Lindenburg in recent years. Jeez. Glencore Ally CEO Yapi Fouillard said the company will meet Electricity Minister Kojisenso Ramakopa to save its joint venture with Merafa Resources. But they're not alone. Others are suffering badly because of this nonsense. It's unbelievable. Electricity costs, the unreliable state of South Africa's energy. Thank you, ANC. Here you go. McKay warned against quick fixes, too costly, pointed to ArcelorMittal's decision to pay heavily just to keep running for another 6 months, saying such measures are not sustainable. No, they're not. You can't do that, and it will cost you dearly. So Eskom tariffs rose 937% from 2007 to 2024. Inflation was just 155%. So 5 times, 6 times the rate of inflation is what it's gone up. Human increase. Electricity costs increased 6 times faster than inflation, leaving South Africa's biggest industries with bills they can't afford, and consumers with bills they can't afford. Yep. So it's just getting worse. By the way, Amazon's bringing pop-up stores to Cape Town and Joburg. Like you need that. Pop-up stores from Amazon. Interesting. And, people are wondering, how is South Africa's economy staying afloat? How is it doing so well? Well, I've kind of alluded to this. We talked about this a few times when they started making this available. People started draining their money from their pensions. People have been draining their pension funds on this one-off and two-off, take your money out of your pension, and that's what's keeping the economy afloat. It's not foreign direct investment. It's not growth. It's not consumer spending. It's consumer spending from your life savings, your retirement funds. And that's going to expire, and you're not going to have any more money. It'll all be gone, and then people are really going to be suffering. South Africa's two-pot retirement system, which came into effect in September of last year, was designed to give retirement fund members some access to their savings while making sure that most of the money stays preserved for retirement. They should never have let them take any money out. 1/3 of monthly contributions go into a savings pot, which allows for emergency withdrawals. The other 2/3 go into a retirement pot, which cannot be touched until retirement. Over the past years, South Africans have withdrawn more than 9.5 billion rand from their savings pots, mainly to pay off debt or to cover up basic living costs. SARS had forecast that 5 billion would be taken. but it was 9.5 billion. By the end of February this year, it had reached 13 billion rand taken out, more than double what was estimated for that time frame. Wow. In other words, they're taking money out of their long-term savings. We think this year they'll take another 25 billion. They've already done a portion of that. Well, what did I predict? And many others. This was a dumb idea. These people will have no retirements, and people are going to come crying and screaming, I need money, and who's going to pay for it? Well, there probably will be no South Africa or no money by the time we get around to that for a lot of people. Yep, the South African government has been paying 3.9 billion rand in fictitious employees. Yep, they're just not there. And the rand took a little bit of a hit today after the rate cut yesterday for the Federal Reserve as the dollar strengthened against the rand. Former Springbok captain John Smith has sold a security giant, his company, to a security giant, another former Springbok. Yep. Founded in 2014, SSG, the holdings, offers comprehensive security, cleaning, hygiene, integrated facilities management, and it's been sold. Yep. Wow. So let me go back to the chat and see what you guys got to say. We're fluctuating between 85 and 90 people here. Colonel, I have done that as well. Funny how one realizes as soon as the boot goes click. Yeah, get in, yeah. Well, thankfully, the Kia is a smart enough car to keep the dummies from locking their keys in it. The hundreds of times I went in and out of that Kia Sportage, and that never happened. And then suddenly, just that one time, and I was not in a hurry. I was there early. I was there before 11 o'clock, and the game was at 1 o'clock. So, it's only about a 15-minute walk to the stadium. I got there in good order. So, and I got interviewed by the BBC. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I was interviewed in 2015 by the BBC, 2019 in Japan by the BBC, Northern Ireland, and here by BBC in 2025. So that's kind of cool. But they wrote an article about me the last time. This time it was just an interview. See the shooting in Pennsylvania? Yes, I did, Alley Cat, and on my radio program I talked about it. That shooting occurred 15 minutes from my house. Well, 15 to 30 minutes, depending how fast you speed. No, it's about 20 minutes from my house. Yeah, I have no idea who the police who were killed were. So we have local police, we have township police, we have county sheriff, we have regional police, and we have state police. All 5 different kinds of police around that area. And there's a regional police office just north of there, which covers that area. And that township, Spring Grove, may cover that. I'm not sure. But it's horrific. It was a domestic dispute, from what I understand. They're issuing a bench warrant for this guy's arrest. They went out there and he killed 3 cops. And the 2 others were critically wounded. I don't know their status. I didn't see any news reports. I looked it up this morning. Didn't see any updates. I did see that, Alley Cat. It's really sad. This is not something that happens where I live. In York City, there are murders occasionally. But New York City has a very different demographic look than the rest of the county. Almost all the Colonel's videos, just can't bring myself to watch the Heinz ones. Apologies. William, that's fine. Not everything's for everybody. There's only one video with Heinz. There aren't Heinz videos. There's only one video with Heinz. If you don't like that, that's fine. Some people don't like Neil de Beer, so they never watch my Neil de Beer stuff. Refugee's being very rude to you, please. No, I know that, Esmari. That's not the case, everybody. And the person that did it didn't mean to be rude. But this was in response to several similar emails. And just this one came, I got to the hotel, I looked and I said, you know what, it's time for me to make a short about this because this is becoming an epidemic. And maybe if I mention it, people will stop doing it. Not likely, though. Ex Yama, Ma Party, Menzies. Ronald, Henrico, what's going on? Holden Caulfield's here. Good to see you there, man. Nisha. BBC has a lot better interview than the one from Scotland Yard. Interview with who? With who? Who's the interview with? Hold on. No, I don't, Nisha, I don't know what his issue with it is. I guess he just doesn't like the people professing their faith or something like that. That's fine. Arrest warrant 2 critical, 3 deceased. Are they still critical, Chris? That's the question. They were critical yesterday. They had helicopters to medevac them. Yeah, domestic disputes are never good. It's the last thing you want to be involved in. They're never good. You never know what's going to happen. Thank you, Rainier. Yes, Andres, I'm the truth teller. That's what's so frustrating when people lie about me or misstate things. Chris Ehlers, are you here? Hey, no, man. Oh, thank you. You're the one who told me that. Yeah, still critical. Thank you for that. That's pretty scary. If you're critical after a day, that's not good. That's not good. After being shot and a day later, you're still in critical condition. That's should be improving at this point. Geez. Yeah. No, that's the thing that's frustrating. I just tell the truth. And let me get back. I see. Yeah, intensive care unit. Let me get back on that story about the bar, the persecution bar. Okay, that's what. Let's say. Let's be clear about something. I'm not an attorney, and I don't play one on television. Many people suggested I become an attorney throughout my life, and it was a consideration to go to law school, but I didn't want to become an attorney because it's not all Clarence Darrow and Johnny Cochran and exciting stuff. A lot of it's quite boring, and writing briefs is so. Being an attorney is combative, and I didn't want to be combative. I wanted to be lead, and that's different. So, I'm not an attorney. I have played a role in the law. I've been a judge, and I've administered court martials and non-judicial punishment. Anyway, so I don't use all the legal terms that aren't necessary, like saying a persecution bar. I explain to people that first week after the Friday when I mentioned that you're going to have background checks, and then I went into it in depth when I made a video at the suggestion of Arctic. Arctic said I should do a video on all these different topics. I did one on finances, what kind of money you get, how you become a refugee, what's the bar to qualify. Then I said background investigations, and I said the reason for background investigations are going to look to see if you have criminal activity, if you've committed crimes. If you're a pedo, if you're a murderer, if you've committed war crimes, then you're not coming to America. And I said that from the very beginning. The fact that I didn't call it a persecution bar, come on, seriously? That's quibbling, okay? I told people from the very beginning, that you have to have a clean background or you're not coming here. Also, something else came to my attention today too. A family's very upset because they say they've been divided, but I don't think the family heard what I said or listened to what I said. They have a unique situation, well, not unique, but an unusual situation in which it's kind of a blended family, I guess. And part of the family's been proved to good, but the other part hasn't. Well, that has something to do with the fact that we're talking about parents and adults. The parents are parents of adults, so that's not really the same family. I don't know why you think you're the family. Maybe because some people they ship together, but your 70-year-old parents are not your family. They're not your family. So you're not being split if your 70-year-old parents don't go, or if they go and you don't go. They've just been processed and you haven't. The other piece of this too is that unique situation. The family has a child, and the person told me they have custody and they have the paperwork of it. But now they're being told by the processors for the U.S. government that they have to have consent of the natural father, which is what I said from the very beginning. I told you guys this because of South African law. I'm not an expert in it, but I do know about this. Remember the Idris Elba thing where he couldn't come to the country because he didn't have a birth certificate? I've also dealt with people from Botswana trying to get into South Africa, get out with their kids, not being able to go unless they had a birth certificate. Passports didn't matter because South Africa's ridiculous laws ostensibly created to stop child trafficking, but they don't stop it. All they do is inconvenience people who are legitimate law-abiding citizens and tourists. So I did say that if you have a child and you're divorced, you're going to have legal clearance, whatever that clearance is, from the courts in South Africa, giving you the right to take that child out of the country. Whether that's legal declaration of full and total custody, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But I did caution people. I did tell you that from the very beginning. I've talked about these things endlessly. And here we are, 7 months later, we're going on now, and I have people telling me that I never said things. Well, that's not true. There's thousands of hours, not hundreds, but thousands of hours of video and commentary that's backing this up. So you just have to pay attention and not hear what you want to hear. Too many people hear what they want to hear. Some people like being persecuted. Oh, woe is me. Oh, RSC, we're not being processed. Let me tell you, again today, I got another email chain from somebody complaining about RSC. Well, they're not doing anything. They're sitting on my thing. They're sitting on my thing. And then a few hours later, I get an email. Oh, I got a call from RSC. My appointment's next week. Yet when I respond to people and I say that RSC is working hard, I get snarky comments from not those people, but some people are like, well, what do you mean they're working hard? I've been waiting here for so long. I've been waiting forever. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. No, it's more than fair. You're just unreasonable. You need to relax. And I know that's easy for me to say. I'm an American. I can go home to America tomorrow. You're trying to get out of South Africa. I appreciate where you're coming from. But unless you're one of those people, and there are plenty of people who on May 12th sent this statement and never heard from anybody, you really don't have a gripe. All right. If you've been contacted at some point, you haven't heard back from somebody, they're doing records checks. We've had a number of people this week, and that's what started, I think, the Professor G videos about the persecution bar and military service, stuff like that. A number of people this week who were contacted, were starting the process, and then there's been a delay. Well, in each of the cases I've heard from, these are people who served in the military or the police during the apartheid era. Now, why might there be a delay? Are they not going to let you go? Not necessarily. But they're probably checking records. And by the way, when we do background checks, it's not simply someone does a database scrub and they just go and look at it. We also talk to people. You know? I mean, like for my security clearance, I have to give names of people that have known me for years. And then they go interview these people. And they interview people that those people know that know me. That's how it works. And something similar happens if there's a question about your background as a refugee. And to your disadvantage or your advantage, however you want to look at this, South Africa is a country where you can actually do that. I mean, you can't run around in Khartoum and ask people questions and get reliable answers, but you can sure do that in Pretoria or Durban or Pietermaritzburg or Bloemfontein. So anyway, take that any way you want, folks. Now, some of the negative comments under are from people who are just impatient, or some who are self-absorbed, some who just don't understand, and some who interpret things incorrectly. Helen, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Trump did grill him behind closed doors. That's why he smirked at it. Yeah, I didn't see the press conference. I did see the King and Trump last night at Windsor Palace. That was awesome. Look, I got to say that I've never been a fan of King Charles III, but I was impressed with his presentation speech, whoever wrote it for him, other than his dwelling on, the environmental nonsense for a little bit there. And Trump's speech was pretty good, too. It was amazing to me. I wonder if he even had a written speech in front of him. It seemed like he did, but he read like a really long speech and it was on one page. He never changed page unless he had like a device that was scrolling up automatically, a teleprompter. He was holding a screen in his hand. It was pretty impressive. And there might have been something like that. But I really enjoyed it. I do have to say this, though. Look, I'm not a fan of the royal family or an opponent. I don't really pay any attention to them because monarchy means very little to me. I know some people put a lot of stock in that. But one thing I do want to say is that Prince William's wife, the stunning Kate Middleton, she looks very poor. I mean, I thought that her cancer was in remission, but the poor woman looks like a twig. I fear for her health. She's a stunning lady, and she looked haggard last night. I mean, I know she looked beautiful, but for how she normally looks, I really hope that she's recovering and coming, because I don't wish cancer on anybody, and particularly someone who seems as nice and lovely as she is. So I hope that she lives for a long time, so she remains a mother to her kids and a wife to her husband and a princess for her country. Yeah, so we have to leave our pets and everything to get safe. We are not complaining because we know we get the opportunities. Yep, Helen. Yep. On the fear of future persecution debate, our case is just fear of future, and our case has been referred. Thank you, Lynette. And see, that's another thing I'm getting. And look, I can't dismiss it because a lot of people are talking about it. I guess it's turning the refugee conversation aside, but that's fine because the late nights are just chatting anyway. So a lot of people have even formed Telegram and WhatsApp groups about RSC, sitting on the case or something like that. I found out about these cases these groups the past couple of days. I'm like shaking my head. You guys are not helping the situation. What do you think is going to be accomplished by creating a WhatsApp group to bitch and moan about RSC? They don't work for you. They don't work for me. They work for the Department of State, U.S. government. That's who they work for. And that's who they answer to. Not to you, not to me. You can complain all you want. All you can do is piss people off. If they're rude to you, then, as I suggested before, use the fraud email address and send a message saying, hey, look, these people are disrespectful and rude to me. But be careful if you do that. Be sure they were rude to you and you're not just a little too short-tempered yourself. So you don't want to make a false claim because it's just going to drag things out. But there have been a lot of people talking about RSC, not caring about the future. And I've given my speculation. I don't have any answers, but I said I believe what might be happening is because the political official who's probably screwed up on this is under pressure to get people over, they're focusing on clear-cut cases of past persecution. All right. Now, I think I'm going to slightly disagree with Professor G on one topic here. We pretty much agree on almost everything. And maybe I inferred incorrectly, so I'll allow for that. But I did watch his video earlier talking about, see, I'm not as clever as I should be. I talk about these things on lives when I should be doing short videos and get lots of views. But I guess I'm not that bright. So he talked about, what was the one he talked about earlier? He had a video, and he was saying that, I'm drawing a blank now. What was his video about earlier? It was a follow-up to the persecution thing, the bar. Anyway, it just went right out of my head. Sorry about that, folks. It's a senior moment there, getting old. Anyway, probably almost as old as Ronaldo now. Oh, it was a great reward. Yeah, and actually, I bought a spare pair of these, so I've got another pair waiting for me when I get home. They'll be at the neighbor's house. I'll pick them up because I really like them. Now, the problem is hopefully my eyes won't fade, and then I need a better prescription. Asking a Facebook refugee ombudsman. Yeah, someone asked me about the ombudsman too. I'm not aware of refugee ombudsman. Someone said I mentioned it. I don't recall mentioning. I recall mentioning that I think there should be one. There should be someone with oversight over this program. That's what I said. I don't. I don't recall saying that there is one because I'm not aware of one. So, what sovereign wealth fund, Pablo Charlie? South Africa has one according to Cyril Ramaphosa, but I've never seen it. Ingrid was gobsmacked. Thank you for your involvement in our cause. It's becoming evident, however, that the response from the EO has been vastly underestimated. The response to the executive order has been vastly underestimated. I think you might be right about that. I think that, but the problem is, you got to understand, guys, that President Trump caught the State Department off guard. Welcome to the 101 people here right now, the 83 likes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, they were completely caught flat-footed. They weren't prepared for this, and I can see it in the execution of this program. I mean, I would really appreciate if someone in charge would contact the White House and say, you know what, we've got a leader, a visionary, someone that understands South Africa, someone that understands the U.S. government, someone that understands planning, someone that understands what needs to be done here. And we would like that leader to be in charge of this program, to execute this program. That'd be really cool. I'd be happy to do it. Look, and I don't care if any of you come here or don't come here. Well, I'm in England. You can come here all you want. In fact, I encourage all of you to come here. Why not? All the Pakistanis are here. All the Congolese are here. All the Algerians, the Iraqis, the Afghans, they're all here, man. There's just no English here. Honestly. So I left the hotel. Nobody working in the hotel is English. Not a single person. I left the hotel and I walked down the street and I passed at least 35 people here on the way on the north side of the airport. Not a single person was English. And then I went to McDonald's. Not a single person. Well, one person who worked there was a white guy who might be English, but I think he might have been Polish. Couldn't hear him speak, and no one else was there as English. In the restaurant, I saw at least 60 people passing in at McDonald's in the short time I was there, and only a young couple were white folks. I presume they're English, but I didn't hear them speaking, so they could have been Polish or Czech or Americans, who knows. But yeah, there's nobody. There's nobody. This country is completely invaded and overrun. It's crazy. It's crazy. A belt-fed firearm. I have a belt-fed firearm. I also have a laser. You know those lasers from that Congo movie, Michael Crichton's movie, where they take the diamond and they put it in the laser and they shoot the silverbacks? That's in my front yard. Aren't all refugees fleeing because they fear a future? Yes, and that's why there's a problem here for Virtual Western Cape. I mean, all you have to do is articulate a fear of future persecution. You don't have to prove anything, and that's not excluded. So yeah, anyway. Oh, that's where I was going. So Professor G, people were talking about, that's what it was. In his video today, he said that in response to an email that we had an email, and he responded to email, then he mentioned it in the video. He said that because both he and I were sent the message by someone who's concerned. I responded, then he responded, but then I'm hours ahead of him, so that's why. And he said that because they were talking about, they're worried about expropriation without compensation and BEE and all this stuff. And Professor G said that the economic issues aren't generally the bar aren't sufficient for articulating persecution. And in this case, I would disagree because what has happened is that it's not simple discrimination, it's wholesale persecution, which is preventing racial minorities in South Africa from getting jobs, from surviving. And they're also denied government benefits. How many people actually get SASA grants are entitled to it? Very few if they're minorities. How many South African Defense Force veterans get a pension or disability payments? None that I'm aware of. Now, General Bento Holomisa said they're eligible, but I'm not aware of anyone who's eligible who's getting paid. Do you guys know something I don't know? I mean, let me know. But as far as I know, they don't. They don't get the money. So that persecution has very profound impact, and it's economic persecution, and it's done on a racial basis. So it's racial persecution. So I'm not an attorney. Professor G is an attorney. But my reading, if I was on a panel as an immigration judge, would be that I would listen to the concerns about BE, if it's happened to you especially. if you've lost your business because of BE, or you've been prevented to doing things because of BE, or you've been denied things. So I would consider that. So I think I disagree with him slightly on that, but we tend to agree on most things. So you know, these are opinions. Take them for what they're worth. Okay. Lovely meet and greet with you today. And Neil and Keith, it was great to meet you and finally have a good trip back home. All right. Thank you very much. Katie, it was fantastic. I'm so glad that we were able to meet. I enjoyed your company. It was lovely, as was Neil. I'm glad that you got a lift back. Neil was very kind. He gave Keith a ride back to the airport, to the actual terminal so you can get on the bus. You know, you used to be able to drop people off at Heathrow, but these shyster bastards now charge you £6 to drop somebody off. You have to pay to drop somebody off at the airport. What kind of scumbag, communist, pinko bastards run this place? £6. I mean, for what? Occupying space for 35 seconds? What a bunch of pig-thieving bastards. I swear to God. It's unbelievable. And a hotel at an airport that doesn't have a shuttle. It's not like this hotel is 20 miles from the airport. The freaking airport's right there. I can piss out the window and hit the runway. Trust me, the damn plane's taking off every 5 minutes. I can hear them. Unbelievable. This is a shyster country that just robs you of every penny you have. And once again, we had a conversation because you go loop around. You used to be able to get down this Bath Road pretty easy. Now it's a pain in the ass because there's only one freaking lane. The entire left lane is for buses. The entire left lane for buses. And there's no freaking buses in it. It's empty. Yes, Dylan, but you're an exception. Not many people get it. You get a disability sausage right there, don't you? Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired of being fleeced. Fleeced. And that sugar tax. Ugh. Trump 78 look 50 and the King 76 looks 100. I think that's a fair statement. King George III does not look healthy. His speech was fantastic last night, but you can tell he's not well. First Lady stole the show. Of course she did. She's stunning. I don't think she's pretty, but I mean, for me, she's not appealing to me. But she's a beautiful woman. Stunning. Best looking First Lady ever. No doubt about it. And the classiest, too. And there's been some classy First Ladies in the Oval Office. Yeah, so but just not my cup of tea. That's not the beauty appeal for me. And okay, that Belfed shotgun. I don't think they have this, do they? Okay, Dogzilla Monster's back. Welcome back, buddy. What are the other fun things lately? What's been happening, Dogzilla? Oh, President Trump is that tall, man. Leo. By the way, Neil is taller than me. So it's been a long time since I've stood next to somebody taller than me. I mean, it made me think of Victor Matfield. He's not that much taller, but yeah. So, Dogzilla, what's going on? How are things in Seattle? Is it raining? Are you sleepless in Seattle, Dogzilla? Good day, says Adrian Fick. Funzaban, Republic of Switzerland. Agree. You can't live and provide if you can't get a job and support yourself due to skin color. That's a crime against humanity. I agree. Being denied grants, unemployment insurance, public health care, that's serious persecution. Exactly. Antoinette thinks that Antoinette is my height. Well, I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall until they take my hip out. Then they'll shrink me down. No, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Not anytime soon, anyway. Yeah, discrimination versus a weaponized economy. Yep. 1.82. I'm 1.9, aren't I? Antoinette, I think I'm about 1.9. I'm about 1.9. We're talking meters, right? Leo Ferrari's laughing. William says I'm the same height as him. Okay, cool. Yeah, anyway, so Trumpster comes to the UK when I come to the UK. Is that cool? So I'll let you know where I'm going next. I'm not 6 foot. I'm 6'2". Don't recognize monarchy in England as an American. I lost my business due to COVID being Nabi. There you go. There you go, Alec. Yeah. Banana Republic. God, I thought it was okay, gotcha. Thank you, Adrian. Switzerland is Banana Republic. Has it gotten that bad there? Switzerland used to be wonderful. No shoes. Well, I'm not talking about shoes either. I'm without shoes too. You don't wear shoes and you get measured in the clinic. Things are still wonderful weather-wise in Seattle. Another gorgeous afternoon. A little hooked on Seahawks coverage. Okay. Well, I stopped watching the NFL, Dogzilla, although I see the Colts are off to a 2-0 start. They had a comeback against Denver. Both games at home, though. They're on the road against Tennessee this weekend. But I won't be watching it because I don't watch the NFL anymore. They're just a bunch of racists. Antoinette says, yes, I got it, Antoinette. You're 6 feet. You said you're as tall as me. You're not. You're 2 inches shorter. but you're close. My mom was 6 foot tall. Lost my mom and dad in June and August this year after being denied proper care at state hospital because of, well, Esmari, then there you go. That's exactly right. Then you fear the same thing will happen to you. You'll die because you'll be denied care. Yep. Helen is 1.55. That is a little short. Yep. Yeah, Esmari, you have a fair case. Yeah, so this weekend we've got the Curry Cup. And next weekend, URC restarts, and then we're back to the test matches. It's time for the Springboks to get serious and defeat the Pumas 2 games in a row. They're going to need to. One of the games is Twickenham. It's just right down the street from here. I mean, it's literally a few minutes from here. I think it's a 15-minute ride from here last time I got on the train, or not even that long. So I wish I was here. That game is coming up on the 2nd of October, but I can't stay here. I got to get back. Yep. Even had a nurse tell me to my face, do I expect them to help my mom because she's white? Oh my God, Esmari, that is, I don't know if you're applying for the refugee program, Esmari, but you've got to tell that story. Okay, by the way, so let's talk about RC here very quickly. I received more email, as I always do, and I received an email from somebody who said that they don't understand their experience. Other people have an RC. They understand everybody has a different experience, but they've had a wonderful experience with the RC, and there are, they said that the RC people are working their tail off. These people bent over backwards to set their interviews up and listen to them. And this person told me that the RSC people are deeply affected by hearing these stories of the persecution that's going on. And I also had another person tell me that the RSC rep was in tears talking to them on their team's interview, listening to their story and what happened to them. Those people, the first one I mentioned, are now scheduled for a flight to the States. This all happened in the past week, all through RSC, while people were bad-mouthing RSC. I'm not defending RSC, but I believe in the objective truth. There may be objective truth that people feel they've been mistreated or they're being denied or being delayed, but again, I don't understand what's so hard for people to understand 100,000 statements of application of interest. How long do you think it takes for humans to go through 100,000 anything? I mean, how long would it take just to count $100,000 bills? Think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, without even reading. Think about that. And you don't just read these, you have to confirm, you have to call the people, you have to make sure these are legitimate people with legitimate numbers, legitimate addresses, and then make sure they answer the questions. And 100,000 plus of these things take time. I do get when people say when, RSC called me and they said they'd send a message or they said they'd call back and they didn't. You have to understand that from my perspective, there's poor oversight of what's going on. That's why I suggest they need an ombudsman. Each person's application process. Yes, thank you, Loretta. I think that's true. Someone from medicals one day and then the next day in person interview, others the other way around. Yeah, but all in cases days apart. Well, I've also got several cases of people through RC who were contacted in July and August. And then they were contacted the first week of September. Then they didn't hear anything. They wrote to me and want me to intervene. And then 6 hours later, they've got appointments set up. And I didn't intervene. They just were impatient. Yeah, it's more than 100,000 alley cat, but I don't have any basis to make a claim of a larger number. I was standing and looking at my dad, suffocating, screaming at the back. Black doctor, please help him. And he walked away telling us he's dying. That's unbelievable. I'd really like to get a chance to converse sometime. Well, Reno, come to a meet and greet. Come to a meet and greet. Where do you live? I may be coming to a town near you. If you count per second, you only get to 86,000 a day. Exactly, and that's without reading anything. It's just counting. Thank you, Anton. That's how many seconds in a day I take it. I appreciate all your hard work. You're welcome, Rana. It's my pleasure. I try. Anyway, yeah. So, hey, Benigno. The Matrix. Beginning of that year, they dragged me to the new six. I have no idea what hell is talking about. You were in Matric in 1988. Okay, so you're younger than me. Reno says, I'm not in USA yet. Well, neither am I. I don't fly till tomorrow. And unfortunately, it's... I hate flying 2 flights. I'd rather just fly home, but Harrisburg is not exactly a destination. It's no longer an international destination. It used to be Toronto, but that was the one place we had, but not anymore. Anyway, they have a mammoth task, gravity thereof. I think it's just, I think that's the problem. People don't appreciate what's going on. But everyone's just me, and I understand why. I get it, but you got to think about something. No, that's not General Puddle. That was Flopsy and Peter Rabbit in the photo. Flopsy and Peter Rabbit. I also picked up a Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore and Piglet and Tigger. Got those as well. Yep. Well spotted though. I did apply. Americana's assisted me and referred my case. RC email that contract will be made in due course. Well, I'm just waiting. Okay, there you go, Smari. Good to hear. Okay. Rather buy me a Starbucks in the States. Okay. Well, I'd rather you buy me 10 shares of Starbucks. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Yeah. Good morning, CB. How's it going? Aren't you working in the morning? Yeah, 10 shares of Starbucks. I think it's $80 a share. Clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. Starbucks stock. I wonder let's see what Starbucks stock is trading for. Last time I looked, it was like 80. It's probably gone down. 83.42. I was close. I haven't looked at it in ages. 83.42. It's currently trading at. I have a few shares of Starbucks in my retirement account. I bought them at $12 a share. Yeah, let's take a look at the 5-year trend for Starbucks. All right, so Starbucks was up to $120 a share in 2020. This is 2020, 2021. Huh. And then it dropped all the way down to 71. It's been up and down. It's had some growth problems. That's why they brought back Howard Schultz. But now they're being sued by the workers over their dress code. Oh my goodness, these whining little babies. They get free college. They get very well paid, and we pay like $35,000 for a cup of shitty coffee, and they whine about it. Took legal action against the Giant Wednesday, saying it violated the law when it changed its dress code but refused to reimburse employees who had to buy new clothes. Well, I don't have much empathy. Starbucks is overpriced, but I'm a shareholder, so I profit from that. You gotta love it. Yes, Walmart is coming to South Africa. They're already there, though. I don't people realize that Mass Mart belongs to Walmart. Game belongs to Walmart. They're just going to have Walmart brand. That's the difference. Lorette says, it was not for you and your advice, we would not have been as far as we are with our process. Your videos and streaming keep us going. Okay, cool. Lynette said, this is the best live stream we've had since this trip began. No noise, no issues, and you seem very well. Yeah. It is. Well, that's probably because Neil got me liquored up. Katie, are you still here? Neil got me liquored up. I want to know why Neil was so desperate to get me drunk. Katie, you were there. Can you tell me why? What's that all about? Actually, I had one beer, and it's British beer, so it's like drinking a quarter beer. Yes, I am relaxed. There are no loud people in the shop. There's the internet's working. I'm not slaving off my cell phone. Yes, I am relaxed. I'm tired, but I'm relaxed. That's for sure. Yeah, I caught the end of a movie a short while ago. Okay, so Chris Pine, isn't Chris Pine the guy that played Captain Kirk in the newer Star Treks that ruined the timeline? I think it's Chris Pine, right? I watched a movie where I caught the end of it, the last 30 minutes of it before this started, and it looked like he was some kind of former ranger who was a mercenary or something. Like they got hired to steal some data, but they actually stole a virus. Anyway, it's kind of weird. Seen on YouTube that there's lots of small organic farms and flower farms across the USA with shops and delis seem to be thriving. I don't know about delis. I haven't seen too many delis. Maybe I need something extra. Yes, Lorette, I will, but we'll see how that goes because I'm going to be out west in the mountain states less than a week after I arrive for a week. And during that time, so I've been doing my night owls at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I'll probably do this because it'll be like 9 p.m. in the mountains, 2 hours difference. So that's fantastic for me. 5 a.m. South Africa time, but 9 p.m. for me. That's pretty cool. I love that. And then my noon program I won't be able to do it at noon on the 25th and 26th because I'm working with CakeNet, but the other days it's going to be a little harder because I'll be traveling around. Although, if it's noon, it could be 10 a.m. and I could do it for an hour before I have to check out of the hotel. So, yeah, we'll see. But I will have it back on schedule starting on Monday for a few days. Cyrus the Virus is back. Farmers markets. Okay. Yeah, farmers markets. We've got lots of farmers markets. Yes, my yard is maintained. It's not a problem. My yard's maintained. My grass is mowed. My packages are picked up. That's all taken care of. Yeah, it's all taken care of. Would like to plant some fruit and veg myself. Hmm. Hmm. Well, so am I, Lynette, and I'll tell you more about it after I get interviewed, okay? Well, I hope it goes well too, Dylan. The good news is that I'm flying from the UK as opposed to Frankfurt, so that's an hour, hour and a half less. So that's, those flights get to be quite long. I wish it was from here to Boston because it's only like 5 or 6 hours that way. But from here, yeah, so yeah, I'll get home about 5:30 tomorrow evening. So that's going to be 11:30 South Africa time at night. So, yep. Anyway. Um, Almost time to trim that beard. Yeah, it is. Well, I would have trimmed it now. It is time to trim it. Think about it going away too. But people are starting to think I'm old. I'm not old. I'm just dead sexy. Come on. You didn't know I had teeth because you can't see because the damn beard's there. No, there's no tent people. I have cameras. You guys think I'm lying? You think I'm serious? You think I'm kidding, right? About these cameras. I got cameras, man. I can look in every room in the veterans organization right now. I can look in the canteen. I can look in the ballroom. I can look in the offices. I can look in the other offices. I can look in the kitchen, on the loading dock. I can see all of that right now, and it works. I sit here, watch it. I suppose it depends on the time of year and the weather, answer that. But I've been to Salt Lake City, and the air quality was fine. Maybe it's gotten bad. Do you think you might have another? Yes, I'll probably talk to Morgan. Morgan, of course, is out in Wyoming, but she's going to be in the opposite side of the state. Otherwise, I would see her when I go to Wyoming. Um, yeah, virtual Western kid, you're full of crap. I know who's got my package. It's a nice try. Um, yeah, so while I'm out there, I'm going to make use of the time. I'm going to go to Star Valley and look around for property because all you damn refugees want to come settle in Pennsylvania, so I have to move to get away from you foreigners and move out to Wyoming. Uh, um, James, I'm not home yet. Well, I am a rational mind, and that's probably why I didn't win the election when I ran. Wasted $22,000 of my life savings to run for office, and didn't even come in close to first. Yeah, I came in fourth out of five candidates. Yep. So anyway, the problem in Pennsylvania is it's very biased. There's a lot of bigotry. If you weren't born there and grew up there, then you're a foreigner. Ants wants to know how old I am. I'm 59 again this year, Ants. We've covered that. Oh, I didn't say you wouldn't find me there, Internet, but it's costly to come to Wyoming. It's an expensive state to live in. There's not much that's produced there, other than natural resources and agricultural products. Everything is shipped in, and it's so far away and remote. I'm sure you'll find me, but again, that's what shotguns are for. Body double clone was maintaining the yard pennies utilities. No, I have an AI version of me that's taking care of that. James, I'm not sure there was 5 officers. There were 3 fatalities, 2 critical wounded. Chris Ayers was here earlier. He said that was the latest. Jackson Hole does look nice, but you need to be a millionaire. And I'm not embellishing. You need to be a millionaire to live in Jackson Hole. It is incredibly expensive. Yes, blue states are turning red. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has had a huge impact on the political scene. And I want to get to that. So, hang on a second. About the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. I want to get to that stuff. So, people are freaking out. New York Times especially. Let me see. Trump administration President says broadcasters risk losing licenses when hosts criticize him. President Trump said federal regulators should revoke broadcast licenses over late-night hosts who speak negatively about him a day after ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel's show indefinitely after pressure from the Federal Communications Commission chairman. Mr. Trump and administration officials have long championed free speech, but their actions as well as their promises since Charlie Kirk's killing to guarantee it have been replaced by efforts to quash criticism. That's a lie. That's not what they've done. They've not quashed criticism. They've quashed people who have just been obnoxious and who are violating the law. There's a big difference. Congressional Democrats plan to introduce long-shot legislation to bolster legal protection for people targeted by the president for speaking freely. It has consequences. Speech has consequences. And when you behave poorly, you behave poorly. There's a price for that. Trump administration wields its full toolbox to bring media to heel. ABC decision to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel's late-night talk show illuminates the administration's efficacy so far. Yes, well, Jimmy Kimmel is a disgusting reprobate. President Trump received thunderous applause during his second inaugural address in January when he vowed to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech. It was in keeping with the popular free speech refrain of his long march out of the political wilderness and his first-term broadsides against cancel culture, which he called the very definition of totalitarianism. Yet he is now conducting the most punishing government crackdown against major American media institutions in modern times, using what seems like every tool at his disposal. That's a lie. That's what Barack Obama did. Barack Obama illegally used the federal law enforcement agencies to spy on journalists. They did. They spied on journalists. And then they also used the IRS to go after journalists. And then, anyway, this is nonsense. ABC's decision to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel for comments the host made about the assassination illuminates the administration's efficacy far. No, it doesn't. Far from decrying the silence of comedian, Mr. Trump celebrated what he termed a cancellation by declaring it great news for America. It is great news for America. Jimmy Kimmel's a disgusting, vile, repulsive reject of a human being. And the lies that he peddled were dangerous. That's right. Well, okay, so Dogzilla, your statement makes no sense whatsoever. How can you be blissfully unaware? Well, blissfully implies you were happy, you carefree that you didn't know who he was. How can you say that if you didn't know who he was? You say you're clueless, you had no idea who he was, but you were blissfully unaware? No, that's an oxymoron. It doesn't work. The decision comes after multi-million-dollar legal settlements from CBS and ABC and lawsuits filed by Trump that legal experts have viewed as long shots. After CBS News' agreement to change the way it presented political interviews under administration pressure and an agreement by CBS' newly merged parent company, Paramount and Skydance, to appoint an ombudsman to hear complaints about its coverage. The company named for the job a conservative policy veteran. Well, there should be an ombudsman. We should have a right to complain about these people. Taken together, the attacks on the media institutions is certainly unprecedented in modern American history. Victor Pickard, a professor of media policy at the University of Pennsylvania. You're full of it, buddy. You're full of it. It's not unprecedented. Did you miss the Obama administration? Clearly you did. Brendan Carr, chairman of the Federal Communications Commission. Yeah, well, Jimmy Kimmel got what he deserved, and he should have gotten a long time ago. Keem Jenner from Kenny today is actually a refugee lawyer and guided us a lot. Oh, really, Loretta? That's interesting. Okay, so once again, Dogzilla, okay, you're saying you had no idea about Charlie Kirk or Turning Point. Okay, that's fair, but then you say, or any of that nonsense. Well, how do you know it's nonsense if you didn't know about it? Dude, come on, just be honest. Kimmel's time slot next week is 1 hour Charlie Kirk special, and he must make sizable donations. I don't know about that. Turn gray at 19. Helen, some people do. We had people turn gray in high school. I also had guys that went bald in high school. I'm like, I feel bad for them. They were bald in high school. That was 40-some years ago, man. Dogzilla says, I don't follow the MAGA movement. It's boring. There are better things to enjoy. Well, the Turning Point USA is not part of MAGA. It's not. Turning Point USA predates MAGA, and Turning Point USA is an effort to galvanize political activism on campuses amongst conservatives. It's been around since 2012. The MAGA movement only came about in 2015. Just curious on the shooting. Do you think the bullet wound is an exit bullet wound? Did the shooter hide the rifle? He threw the rifle into the woods. And I don't know what you mean by exit wound. What's been announced by ABC Alley Kent? 83 CB. Wow, that's wild. I started turning gray at 50. Well, I have a few gray hairs in my late 40s, but I started this look here came when I was, about 56 or something like that. Pretender says another thing I just want to clarify my comments above so we can use. Yes, you can, but there are people who claim that they've been told that they don't want to hear that. But that isn't how the law works, so I don't understand how they get away with that. If you can't make a living because you've been racially persecuted, the reason you lost your business isn't economic. You lost your business because of race. Make that point. Broad-based black economic empowerment is racist, and it cost me my job. It cost me my business. It cost me my living. It put me into poverty. Be clear about that. The law is applied against you simply because you're white or you're Asian or you're brown. But, if you get a different opinion from somebody who's working those places, I can't, you can't blame me. I'm just telling you how they're supposed to work. People are easily offended. Yeah, you're right. That's why they killed Jesus. Well, they also killed him because he had a huge following. There was a threat to the Roman Empire. All right, guys, it is midnight, and I need to get up at 6, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for the likes and this late night, and I'll chat with you tomorrow, okay? Probably, I don't know, maybe from the airport when I get to the States, and certainly maybe before that if I have time in the morning, okay? All right, I'm glad I was able to clarify. I understand it has been tough. Look, there are people saying that they don't want to hear that, but they're saying that the interviewers don't want to hear that, but that's not what the law says. Focus on the fact that you were cheated out of that because your race, because that's what it's all about, okay? It's about racial persecution. All right, guys, have a good night. God bless.